Archangel Michael says, "Are you sure the knock at your door is innocent? Are you certain the chill you felt last night wasn't something more? Have you noticed how the hallway feels colder, how your spirit tenses at certain hours, how you can no longer explain why you check the lock twice before bed?" I am not speaking these words for entertainment. I am speaking because heaven has dispatched me to deliver this final warning before something reaches your door that was never sent in love. Listen carefully. There is a stranger planning something. This is not paranoia. This is not fear speaking. This is divine intelligence sent for your protection. I have stood watch over your home, and tonight I am compelled to speak with urgency because your safety is being contested. You have felt it, the sudden heaviness in the air, the odd timing of conversations stopping when you enter a room, the whisper of your name when no one was there. These are not coincidences. These are alarms ringing in the spirit realm. Someone has been circling your life in silence, plotting, waiting for the right moment. But heaven never allows darkness to move without sending light ahead to warn. I am that light tonight. Archangel Michael stands not only near your house but at your very threshold. My sword is drawn. My voice breaks the silence with this declaration. Do not ignore this message. This is not about fear. This is about awareness. This is not about suspicion. This is about protection. What I reveal now could prevent what others have secretly hoped would happen to you. Stay awake. Stay alert. Stay obedient. Because tonight is no ordinary night. Type 444 if you're ready for protection. Archangel Michael says, "You need to hear me clearly. There has been a door in your life, both physical and spiritual, that has drawn attention not just from people, but from spirits. While you sleep, while you cook your meals, while you go about your day believing nothing unusual is happening, there has been a shift at your threshold. Your home has been watched. Not by angels alone, not only by those sent to protect you, but also by those who were sent to spy, to test, to see if you would let your guard down. A stranger is planning something, and heaven did not bring you here by accident to hear these words. Let me make this plain. Spiritual doors are more dangerous than the ones made of wood and metal. A spiritual door swings open when fear grows, when bitterness festers, when silence replaces prayer. That is why I have been circling your home. That is why you have felt me in the hallway, in the shadows, in the chill that came without wind. Do not dismiss what I tell you now. A spirit was dispatched toward your house, not to knock kindly, not to visit in peace, but to look for cracks, to look for openings, to look for weak places where trust has become fatigue and faith has become doubt. This stranger may wear flesh, may send a message, may act casual, but what is riding on their back is no accident. Their plan is wrapped in deception. Your name has been whispered where it should not have been. There were conversations in places you were not invited to. Someone has watched you more closely than you realized, plotting, calculating, feeding lies behind closed doors. They hope you stay unaware, passive, too distracted to notice the shift in the air. But I have noticed. Heaven has noticed. I stood by the gates of your home when you felt the chill at midnight and thought it was just the cold. I placed my sword at your doorstep when you heard the floor creak, though no one walked there. I hovered in the silence when the phone rang with no answer, when the message was left with no name, when the knock sounded but no one stood on the porch. These were not coincidences. These were spiritual signals. I must tell you this. The darkness does not knock politely. It waits for you to open out of curiosity, out of routine, out of fear. That is why I say, be vigilant tonight. Be mindful of who comes near your home, of what is spoken at your door, of what is left behind on your property. Not everything sent is meant to bless. Some things are meant to bind. I saw the stranger's heart long before they ever decided to walk your street. I heard their intentions wrapped in casual tones. I watched as they rehearsed what they would say to disarm you, to make you trust, to make you open without discernment. But I tell you now, heaven is exposing it before it begins. You felt the pressure rising this week. You sensed something wasn't right. The silence has been heavy, not peaceful. The stillness has been thick, not calming. That is because a spiritual confrontation has been unfolding around your house. I have fought wars outside your windows. I have pressed my wings between you and those who would have entered unnoticed. Your spirit has been uneasy for a reason. That wasn't your imagination. That was your protection, alerting you to prepare. Tonight you must understand something crucial. Your home is sacred ground. Not because of its bricks, but because of the prayers whispered within its walls. Not because of its locks, but because of the promises God has spoken over your life. That is why darkness circles waiting. That is why I was sent ahead to stand guard. But my guarding requires your agreement. Heaven's protection requires your awareness. You cannot leave spiritual doors open through apathy, through grudges, through unforgiveness. These are invitations to the stranger. These are cracks in the foundation where something malicious will try to enter under the disguise of friendliness, under the mask of innocence. Do you understand now why I speak so urgently? The spirit realm is not sleeping tonight. Neither should your discernment. The ones who plan harm do not rest. The ones who plot your downfall speak in shadows while you prepare for tomorrow unaware. But I tell you, you will not walk blindly anymore. You will not answer without caution. You will not welcome what heaven has warned you against. I declare this over you. Your home is sealed. Your name is guarded. Your atmosphere is cleared. But you must stay awake in spirit. You must shut the doors not just in the physical but in the unseen. Close the doors through prayer. Seal the cracks with faith. Speak protection over your threshold, and no stranger, no force, no hidden agenda will succeed. Tonight is not about fear. Tonight is about instruction. Tonight is about protection. Heaven fights for you. Heaven warns you. Heaven prepares you. The stranger will hesitate when they see what guards your house now. The plan will unravel because you did not stay ignorant. The danger will pass because you stood in authority, not in fear. Listen, your door is under observation, but so is theirs. The enemy's house is crumbling while yours is being fortified. I stand by your door tonight with sword drawn. I declare no harm shall cross this boundary without facing heaven's defense. Watch. Pray. Do not be moved by intimidation. The Lord of hosts has dispatched me on your behalf. This is not the end of the battle, but it is the end of your ignorance. Your eyes are open now. Your house is covered now. Your spirit is fortified now. Type 777 if you receive this divine protection over your home. Archangel Michael says, I must speak with no softness now. I must speak with the clarity of battle. This is not about suspicion. This is about exposure. Heaven has not sent me to frighten you, but to reveal what has been hidden beneath smiles, beneath gestures, beneath false kindness. The stranger's true purpose is not what it appears to be. They are not just passing by your door by coincidence. They are not simply knocking because of curiosity. They have been sent, whether knowingly or unknowingly, by a spirit that seeks entrance through deception. This spirit hides behind human actions, behind innocent invitations, behind false opportunities. It waits for you to open the door. But I, Michael, have seen behind the mask. I have listened to the conversations spoken in secret, in rooms where your name was used as a pawn, not as a blessing. This person, this stranger, has been circling your name spiritually long before they came near your home physically. Their words have been dipped in manipulation, their actions dressed as harmless, but laced with hidden motives. They intend to plant seeds, not just physical, but spiritual. Seeds of doubt, seeds of fear, seeds of confusion. They hope you open the door not only with your hands but with your heart, with your trust, with your defenses lowered. That is the entrance they seek. That is the invitation they crave. But heaven has denied them access. You must deny them access too. They will come appearing harmless. They may wear the face of a neighbor, a friend of a friend, a kind stranger offering help. But beneath that exterior, there is a thread of darkness, a connection to forces that do not wish you well. This is not guesswork. This is revelation. This is why heaven intervened to speak to you now. I must tell you plainly, they were sent to observe. They were sent to collect information. They were sent to find the cracks you thought were hidden. But I have seen it. And now you see it too. You must not answer out of politeness what heaven has warned you to shut out through discernment. You must not let false humility make you vulnerable to disguised danger. Some doors must remain closed, not because of fear, but because of wisdom. Some invitations must be declined, not because you are rude, but because you are protected. You are not being tested by coincidence. You are being tested by design. This person has connections, ties unseen to you but clear in the spirit. There are conversations behind doors where your name has been discussed. Plans have been formed. Agreements have been made. Someone who pretends to admire you has been feeding your movements to another. Their mission is not accidental. Their presence is not casual. They come to knock. They come to look. They come to see if your house is still guarded, still prayed over, still sealed in light. What they find will disappoint them. What they find is me, Michael, standing at your boundary, sword unsheathed, declaring, "No darkness crosses this door tonight. You must be bold now, bold in your spirit, bold in your discernment, bold in your awareness. This is not the time to second-guess what you feel in your spirit. That unease was sent for a reason. That hesitation was not weakness. That suspicion was not paranoia. It was protection. There is no shame in guarding what God has entrusted you. There is no guilt in closing doors that heaven never told you to open. Do not apologize for your discernment. Do not explain your caution. The stranger may smile. The stranger may retreat. The stranger may try again through another face, another route. But you are awake now. You are armed now. Understand this. Where there is light, darkness cannot dwell. Where there is awareness, deception cannot grow. Where there is obedience, protection cannot be broken. They thought your house was unguarded. They thought your spirit was weary. They thought your faith had grown tired. But heaven has proven them wrong. I stand guard. I fight for you. I block every scheme sent to ensnare you. Tonight, as they prepare their steps, as they draft their words, as they plan their approach, heaven is already undoing their strategy. What they whispered in secret is now being shouted in the spirit realm. Do not touch what God has marked as protected. Their plans will backfire. Their intentions will be exposed. Their alliances will fracture. Because what they didn't see was the army standing behind your closed door. What they didn't hear was the sword being unsheathed in heaven's court on your behalf. I say this with authority. You will not be harmed. You will not be deceived. You will not be overtaken. Your house is a fortress of light. Your name is written in protection. Your boundary is guarded by divine decree. Do not be shaken by the knock. Do not be startled by the words. Do not entertain what feels wrong simply because it looks harmless. Trust your spirit. Trust what you now know. Trust the warnings heaven has placed in your path. This is not just about a stranger. This is about closing a door to every spirit attached to betrayal, to invasion, to destruction disguised as friendship. This is about ending cycles of manipulation. This is about standing in authority, where once you stood in fear. I do not speak these words lightly. I speak because heaven commands it. Tonight, no stranger will succeed. Tonight, no plan against you will prosper. Tonight, no deception will find shelter here. Your home is under surveillance by angels. Your peace is defended by warriors of light. Your future is preserved by divine intervention. Be at peace, but stay vigilant. Be calm, but stay discerning. Be loving, but stay protected. The stranger's plan ends where my sword stands. Your obedience to this message secures your victory. Type 444 if you receive this declaration of protection. Archangel Michael says, Let me bring light to what has been hiding in plain sight. The signs you have brushed off, the feelings you labeled as just tiredness or just anxiety, these were never random. Heaven has been trying to speak to you, to prepare you, to awaken you before the moment arrives. You think back now, don't you? The knock at the door when no one was there. The phone ringing with no one speaking on the other side. The shadow you thought you glimpsed passing your hallway just after midnight. These were not tricks of the mind. These were not accidents. These were spiritual warnings dressed in everyday clothes. You felt it in your bones. The sudden heaviness in the air when you entered certain rooms. You felt the pressure tighten around your chest for no reason you could explain. Your dreams became more vivid, more symbolic, more urgent. Names appeared, numbers repeated. Hours on the clock circled back again and again. 3:11, 4:44, 11:11. And still, you wondered if it meant anything. Let me confirm, it meant everything. The stranger planning to knock at your door has not been alone in their movements. They have been driven, pulled, manipulated by a spirit that first tested your awareness through these signs. Spirits always come before footsteps. What walks into your home physically must first enter spiritually. That is why heaven has sent these nudges, these chills, these whispers through the walls. You are not wrong to feel unsettled. You are not foolish to feel watched. You are not imagining things. Heaven has been sounding alarms in ways only your soul could hear. Do you remember how your pet barked at nothing? How the lights flickered when you were deep in thought? How the air felt heavier some nights without reason? These were not household issues. These were spiritual indicators. Angels move in subtle waves, but so does darkness. And where heaven sends protection, hell attempts to trespass. I stood outside your home as these moments unfolded. I watched you dismiss the knocks, laugh off the dreams, shake your head at the whispers, not in judgment, but in sorrow. Because I knew, if you ignored the small signs, you might not be ready for the larger confrontation. That is why I speak louder now. That is why I do not whisper. That is why this message was delivered with urgency. Let me take you deeper. There were moments you thought were coincidences. Certain words overheard at just the right time. Certain faces passing by that made your spirit shudder. That stranger in the store who stared too long. That friend who suddenly grew distant after visiting your home. These are not disconnected events. They are threads tied to a larger spiritual pattern unfolding around your house. You felt it, when the hallway seemed colder than the rest of the house, when conversations stopped when you entered the room, when the dreams became darker, sharper, more symbolic. All of this was heaven trying to shake you awake, not to fear, but to prepare. Do you know why these signs intensified? Because the moment is drawing closer. The enemy never knocks once. They circle first. They test the walls. They look for weak places in faith, in forgiveness, in spiritual authority. That is why the signs came stronger, louder, clearer as the days passed. And hear me now. These signs were not punishments. They were invitations. Invitations to pray deeper. Invitations to fortify your home. Invitations to stand in authority you had forgotten was yours. Because heaven does not allow harm without first offering protection. God never sends a warning without providing a way of escape. The signs were your invitation to close doors, to cleanse your space, to declare, not here, not my house, not my family. You still have time. Your discernment has been reignited. Your spirit is awake again. The numbness is lifting. The patterns are making sense. And now, you stand at a threshold of clarity where you once stood in confusion. Do not look back with regret. Look forward with wisdom. Every knock you ignored, every chill you dismissed, every whisper you thought your imagination, these were heaven's gentle hands trying to guide you here. To this message, to this awakening, to this protection. I remind you now, your house is not ordinary. Your bloodline is not ordinary. Your purpose is not ordinary. That is why the attacks came. That is why the signs multiplied. The stranger at your door may think they approach casually, but they step toward holy ground guarded by angels and marked by heaven. You have authority to say no. You have power to close doors unseen. You have strength to discern spirits before they ever reach your threshold. Tonight, walk through your home. Speak out loud what you now know. This house belongs to light. This door belongs to heaven. No darkness may enter. Watch how the atmosphere shifts. Watch how peace returns. Watch how boldness rises in your chest where fear once lived. Because the signs were never random. The signs were always love. The signs were always heaven's way of drawing you closer, making you wiser, fortifying your heart before the stranger's knock ever arrived. And when the knock comes, and it may still come, do not fear. Do not answer blindly. Do not hesitate to trust your spirit when it speaks louder than politeness or habit. The stranger's plans fail where discernment stands strong. I am not leaving your doorstep. My sword remains drawn. My wings remain spread. Your home remains under guard, not just because you asked, but because heaven decided you are worth protecting. Look back only to recognize how far you've come. Look forward knowing nothing sent against you will prosper. The signs brought you here. The signs protect you now. The signs will lead you forward. Type 777. If you now recognize every sign was heaven trying to save you. Archangel Michael says, tonight is not like any other night. Listen to me with your whole spirit. Heaven is repositioning the protection over your home. What was vulnerable is being reinforced. What was overlooked is now sealed. What was exposed is now covered by divine authority. You may think this is simply about a stranger knocking at your door, but I tell you plainly, this is about cycles being broken. This is about atmospheres shifting. This is about heaven reclaiming territory in your life where fear once tried to settle. I have not come to speak empty words. I have come to declare, your house is being marked afresh. Your threshold is being guarded anew. Your peace is being restored with power. Tonight I stand with my sword drawn, not because you are in weakness, but because you are stepping into strength. The enemy knows this. That's why the attacks intensified. That's why the knock was planned. That's why confusion circled your name. They thought you would open the door in weariness, in fear, in loneliness. But you did not. You heard the warnings. You discerned the signs. You remained awake. Because of your awareness, something powerful is happening right now. Heaven is moving through your home like a wind, unseen but undeniable. Every room where shadows once lingered is being filled with light. Every doorway where heaviness stood is being sealed with peace. Every window where fear pressed its face is now covered by angelic wings. The shift is happening because you said yes to protection, because you said yes to discernment, because you said yes to listening when others ignored. Do you feel it? The air feels different now. That heaviness you carried in your chest is lifting. That tension you felt between your shoulders is breaking. The silence is no longer heavy with threat. It is holy with peace. I have been dispatched not just to warn, but to defend. Not just to defend, but to reorder. Tonight, what was open is closing. What was exposed is being covered. What was threatened is being secured. Heaven is repositioning your home. The stranger may still come. The knock may still happen. The attempt may still be made. But what they find will not be weakness. It will not be an open door. It will not be easy access. What they will find is resistance. What they will face is authority. Because now your home is guarded differently. Not passively, not occasionally, not when fear rises, but continuously, strategically, powerfully. Every word you pray tonight becomes a wall of fire. Every declaration you speak becomes a sword in the spirit. Every refusal you make to entertain fear becomes a lock sealed by heaven's hand. You are not who you were last week. You are not as vulnerable as you thought. This battle has awakened a warrior spirit in you. This testing has unlocked a new authority over your home, your family, your future. What you declare over your house will now stand firm. This is a house of peace. This is a threshold of light. This is a dwelling place of divine protection. Do not fear anymore when the lights flicker. Do not tense when the wind presses strange sounds against your windows. Do not panic when dreams turn vivid. These are no longer signs of invasion. They are signs of clearing, of angels moving, of heaven establishing its dominion where darkness tried to linger. I want you to understand something deeply. Heaven is not reactive. Heaven is proactive. This repositioning is not a response to fear. It is a preparation for blessing. Why do you think the enemy was so determined to disturb your home? Because what's coming is too precious, too valuable, too anointed to be left unguarded. Your home is not just where you live. It's where legacies begin. It's where prayers shape futures. It's where healing breaks generational curses. That is why heaven sent me here tonight. That is why the repositioning matters. Walls in the spirit are rising around your household. Walls built not of brick, but of light. Walls reinforced not with wood, but with the word. Walls guarded not with alarms, but with angels whose swords gleam with heaven's fire. Do you see now why you couldn't afford to ignore the signs? Do you understand now why I've spoken with such urgency? Because what heaven has planned for your life requires a protected atmosphere. Because what is coming to your door next will not be danger. It will be opportunity, blessing, divine alignment. Because what the enemy sent as a stranger with bad intentions, God will now reverse and replace with a messenger of peace, of promise, of provision. The tables have turned. The battle has shifted. The atmosphere has been reclaimed. Tonight, even as you read these words, angels are marking your home. They are sealing your doorways. They are standing at your corners. They are writing your name on scrolls of protection, ensuring no harm crosses your boundary without facing heaven's wrath. You are not alone. You are not unprotected. You are not vulnerable. You are surrounded. You are covered. You are guarded by light. So sleep without fear. Wake without dread. Answer your door with discernment, but not with terror. The stranger's plan ends where heaven's protection begins. The darkness recoils where light is declared. This house belongs to God. This threshold is claimed by angels. This home will flourish under divine watch. Type 444 if you receive this repositioning over your home tonight. Archangel Michael says, you can breathe now, you can rest now. The threat has been revealed, the door has been sealed, and heaven has repositioned its protection over your life. I did not come to scare you. I came to awaken you. I came to remind you that you have never been as alone as you felt. Even in the silence, even in the nights you questioned your safety, your prayers, your future, heaven was moving. I was standing guard. I was fighting for you when you didn't even know there was a battle. The stranger's plans are crumbling. The spiritual door they hope to enter has been shut by the authority of God. Your home is no longer vulnerable to their schemes. The atmosphere has shifted. Where fear once lingered, peace now reigns. Where confusion once clouded your vision, clarity has been restored. Tonight, I want you to remember this. Not everything that approaches your door deserves a welcome. Not every knock should be answered. Your discernment is your protection. Your obedience is your fortress. Your prayers are your gates. Go forward in peace, knowing you are covered. The angels have stationed themselves around you, not for a moment, but for a season. This repositioning is not temporary. It is permanent. Your house, your future, your family have been marked by divine light. Rest without fear. Speak without hesitation. Move forward without looking over your shoulder. Heaven walks with you. I, Michael, stand beside you. Type 777 if you believe no weapon will prosper against your home. Type 444 to declare your house is sealed in light. You are safe. You are protected. You are covered. Always.